4 seconds ahead of the second place car, Federico Leo. Here he is, and that chase has been very swift from Leo. It's only taken him, Tommy, the best part of 3 laps to close down a 10-second advantage.
Yes, I mean, you know, looking at the screen, 2 to 3 seconds a lap faster than Ramos. There's obviously Ramos was there's no hope of him keeping the lead of the race at the moment. We'll see. He still has to get through. He has to get past cleanly, and but you know, with more than over 15 minutes still of racing to go, clearly Leo has a lot more pace than Ramos at this stage.
However, Miguel Ramos is some 3 to 5 kilometers an hour faster through the speed trap each and every lap, so it could be that Federico Leo could start to get very frustrated here, because provided that Miguel Ramos is able to drive a wide car, able to drive cleanly and smoothly through the technical sections of the circuit, the Corvette should just have the straight line advantage over the Ferrari, which runs out very wide again over the curbs on the exit to turn 11. That means he can't challenge into turn 12, but we'll see just how anxious Federico Leo is to make this move to lead the race very, very shortly as they come to the end of another lap, and Ramos runs a little bit wide through turn 13. He's able to claim the late apex. And actually, if anybody, it's Leo who's all over the circuit, sliding that car, working it very, very hard, whereas Miguel Ramos, he obviously taught him well, Tommy, because he's driving very cleanly, very smoothly.
He is. He's doing the best he can, but I think, again, it's only a matter of time before the Ferrari gets through, and this is where really the team comes into play as well. You know, the team should be telling exactly what you said. We can see on our screens that he is quicker, that the Corvette has perhaps an advantage on the straight. What the team should be telling Leo right now is that, listen, don't push too hard. Just keep your calm, drive smoothly. You've got more pace. Just pick your moment. Just pick your moment.
Federico Leo can have his moment very soon, because slow through turn 2 was Miguel Ramos. But again, this is the differential between those marks. We saw that with the Aston Martin as well, Tommy. The slow line through turn 2 really enables the cars with a greater top speed to then gain more momentum through 3 and on towards turn 4 and actually withstand that challenge. And it's a really nice opportunity to see the different characteristics of the Ferrari and the Corvette as Leo draws alongside, but he can't squeeze through past Miguel Ramos. And well, Ramos was in this position at Paul Ricard back in July, leading the race, when unfortunately he tagged with Andrea Montermini, and that's really what he doesn't want, is to have contact with Federico Leo. Leo, though, lights ablaze in the Hungarian sunshine, chasing down Miguel Ramos. Well, he's done the chasing right on the tail of Miguel Ramos, trying to find a way through into the lead of the race. I have to say that from Ramos's point of view, he could rather do with this race being shortened by 15 minutes, because the concentration, Tommy, you know, as a top driver, is just immense to hold on to the lead in a situation like this.
Absolutely. You have to drive absolutely on the limit of your tyres and not making a mistake, and that's easier said than done. These guys are now in the car for, you know, a good 15 minutes or so. It's starting to get hot. The tyres are not at their best. This is real pressure, and Ramos is doing a great job. And again, Leo needs to just bide his time and push where he can, find the right moment to overtake without contact. Leo has the race in his pocket if he plays it well.
30 laps completed by the race leader, Miguel Ramos. Federico Leo on his 10. And what about Matteo Malicelli? He was 2 seconds faster than the leaders last time round, and all the while that Miguel Ramos is able to withstand the challenge from Leo, it is going to bring Malicelli into this battle as well. Now, let's see if Ramos takes this very slow exit from turn 2 to then build up the speed into turn 3. That's exactly what he does, and that will then enable the Corvette to pull a couple of car lengths away from the Ferrari 458 into turn 4, although maybe not quite as successful in doing that this time around.
No, if what Leo really could benefit from is a videotape of the Tandy move, because that is his moment. Coming out of that corner into the chicane, he obviously did not get out of that corner well enough, so you're going to have to stay behind him. But in the infield of the Sector 2 is where the Ferrari climbs all over the Corvette. Look at that.
And Ramos is just starting to move early to the inside of the corners. He's starting to take those defensive lines, and that actually plays into the hands of Federico Leo. That makes his job easy, because it means that Miguel Ramos is going to be slower through the corners, and so Leo is on the tail of Ramos, and this is as close as Leo has been really at any stage in this chase. And Ramos again is slow through turn 11, so as they accelerate towards turn 12, are we going to see the Ferrari ducking out, looking to the inside? Yes, we do, but Ramos is very late on the brakes, and Leo can't quite squeeze through. But now Ramos has got to be really crisp with his braking point into turn 13. He hits the apex absolutely perfectly. Repeat for turn 14 and then try and pull away into turn 1.
Yeah, this time into the last turn, Ramos looked a bit tight there into the last corner, so if Leo could have a good run. Of course, the Corvette has a straight line speed, and there it is, it shows again. Ramos doing a very good job, really keeping the Ferrari behind, playing a game of snooker, and it's working for him at this stage.
It certainly is, although again he takes that tight inside line into turn 1, Tommy.
Yes, but once again, Ramos is placing the car exactly as he should. He's not allowing for the cutback either. He's, again, playing a very good game of snooker with his car. But I still feel 11 minutes to go. Leo has a lot more pace, and he's just stuck behind him at the moment.
Yeah, of course, he wants the pit radio. A little bit of a conference about maybe which are the best instructions to give to Federico Leo.
That's right. And again, what best instructions would be to just bide your time, but find your moment. He now has followed Ramos for several laps. He knows where Ramos is weak, and he needs to find that weak point and make a move.
All the while, the race clock ticks downwards. We've now got just over 11 minutes remaining in what is one of the closest finishes we've had this year. But again, a good run from Federico Leo. But the problem that Leo's got is the corners where he is so strong are not really overtaking opportunities. Then Ramos is able just to build enough of an advantage into those passing areas. But I think turn 12, which they're about to arrive into at the end of this straight, is probably Leo's best opportunity. It's where Ramos is the most ragged coming onto this short straight. As a result, Ramos moves to the inside. He's going to make Leo do this the hard way around the outside, which he attempts to do. He draws alongside the Chevrolet Corvette, but is squeezed out over the curbs, and Miguel Ramos holds on to the lead of the race. Oh, but he runs wide into turn 13. Can he close the door? They almost make contact, but Miguel Ramos still leads it from Federico Leo. They go side by side into the final turn, and Matteo Malocelli is about to join them to make it 3 cars fighting for the lead here in the International GT Open. We've got just 10 minutes remaining. Everybody here at the Hungaroring is watching the monitors as this absolutely thrilling fight heads into the latter stage of the race, and it's another lap reeled off with Miguel Ramos in the lead of the race.
This is great GT racing, and look at Malocelli now coming up to those top 2 guys. He's going to have something to say in this battle very, very soon.
And you'll know as a racing driver, Tommy, that sometimes when you come into battle like this and you're just carrying more speed, you're running your own race, you can sometimes just carve through this fight as if they're not there, because you're just seeing it from a slightly different perspective. Absolutely.
Malocelli is now looking ahead, seeing what's going on, and he's thinking, I could actually get from 3rd to 1st here if these guys don't watch it. And there's enough time for Malocelli to get involved in this.
Well, this is turning into the race of the season from the GT Open so far. It's been a thrilling year of racing, but this is really something else. But now Leo's got the run. He tries to do a Nick Tandy up the inside into turn 6 and 7, but he can't do it. And that Corvette is a big, wide, meaty thing. And again, Ramos covers the inside line. He has done an astonishing job, Miguel Ramos, to keep the Ferrari behind him thus far. But now Malocelli is right on his tail. Now, what Miguel Ramos wants here is Malocelli to start occupying Federico Leo. Leo has to take some defensive lines, and that drops him back slightly from that race-leading Corvette.
Absolutely, that will be absolutely what Ramos needs. Whether he will get that or not, we'll see. I think Leo is still menacing Ramos, and it's far too many laps now that Leo has spent behind the Corvette. And again, he had an awful lot more pace than Ramos when he got close to him. He needs to find a way through, because now Malocelli is right up his backside.
He really is, and this is now about to be the end of the 33rd lap of the race, and Miguel Ramos has just been metronomic over the past few laps. So across the line, flash these 3 leaders. Now are we going to see the Aston Martin able to have a little bit of a run on the Ferrari into turn 1? Malocelli considers a launch up the inside. We are maybe going to see a challenge for 4th position as Juan Manuel Lopez looks to the inside of Nick Tandy. So that fight continues with the Porsche Tandy just leading Lopez.
Malocelli a full second faster than Leo.
Wow.
Now that's space coming from the Aston, and he's right up with them.
Out of turn 3 they come, and the Corvette, though Miguel Ramos still leads the way. The Aston Martin, Matteo Malocelli. Now, if you're Malocelli, surely into turn 1 is where you'd be looking to try and make that move on Federico Leo, and that really gives Leo the imperative to try and get through now as he challenges into turn 5. He's going to try and set Miguel Ramos up maybe for turn 6 and 7. He's right on the tail of the Corvette, but no, to the inside line. Miguel Ramos sees that coming That was telegraphed a little bit by Leo, but he tries to keep his footing around the outside. Does Federico Leo in the Ferrari, then looks to the inside into turn 8. No way through there. Next up is the right-hander at turn 9, but still holding on is Miguel Ramos, with Malacelli closing in all the while.
Now that's very good from Leo. That's what he needs to focus on. Coming out of turn 5 with good speed. That's what Tandy did before and paid off. He needs to focus on that.
There, of course, team getting ever more anxious on the pit wall as these 3 race leaders, the Corvette from the Ferrari, from the Aston Martin, just under 7 minutes remaining here at the Hungaroring. Lights ablaze from all of them. Now, are we going to see Malacelli getting a good run in the Aston Martin down the start of his straight this time, maybe to challenge Federico Leo into turn 1? I don't think he's quite close enough. So they come through. Another lap is completed by the race leader, Miguel Ramos. And this, if he's able to hold on, Tommy, would be the drive of Ramos's career. It has been, even for a professional driver at the very, very top of their game, to hold on to this sort of pressure is astonishing.
Yeah, absolutely. Great drive so far from Ramos. Clearly, you know, having a car or whatever, you know, whatever the problems, if he has any issues with the cockpit, we don't know. But his car has less space than Leo's car behind, and is able to keep him at bay. Now, only 6 minutes left in this race. Will he be able to keep him behind?
Well, the fight for 4th between Nick Tandy and Juan Manuel Lopez is circulating a second a lap faster than the race leaders, and they're only 2 seconds back from this as well. So we could now have 5 cars in the mix to decide who's actually going to win this race here at the Hungaroring, because they are closing all the while on this leading squabble, which Miguel Ramos is doing a very fine job of maintaining. And that time around, Federico Leo didn't even pressurised Ramos. He was just sitting in behind him, and now that could be tactical drone from there. He could just be taking a lap a little bit more steadily, not overworking the tyres and saving himself for a bit of a push.
That could be an issue, of course. Now coming to the end of the race, these tyres have done an awful lot of work now, and obviously these guys are battling, which, you know, effectively you slide the car a little bit more, you take a little bit more out of the tyres. So, but Leo really needs to focus on that turn 5. That turn 5 is his best shot. Coming out of turn 5 well will get him an inside line into the chicane.
I think that tyre point you make, Tommy, really bears out for Matteo Malacelli. Having closed up with these leaders, he's not really making any inroads in that last couple of car lengths. He needs to be as part of that fight. And again, Ramos holds on through turns 13 and 14. This is 35 now. Reeled off into the history books by Miguel Ramos. Savancio Federico Leo drops by 0.2 of a second, but really that's academic given how fine the margins between these 3 leaders are. Again, Ramos covers the inside line, snatching a break. Federico Leo, has he run wide on the exit of turn 1? Not quite, and certainly not enough for Matteo Malacelli to be able to take any sort of advantage. So the 3 of them hit the brakes again through looping turn 2. And then charging out of turn 3, and Leo, over the last couple of courses, is just slipping back from Ramos slightly.
Yes, I mean, what's happening now also with Ramos is that this is really playing to him. He's psychologically, he's thinking, I'm actually holding these guys back, and this is giving him more confidence, and he is going to maintain that defensive all the way to the end. Now, the Aston, of course, had some very good laps and closed up in the front, the two leading cars, but as a front engine car, very heavy on the left front tyre, and as it gets behind the car in front, it loses a bit of downforce at the front, and it starts to hurt the tyre again with a bit of sliding. So the Aston perhaps now, and we see contact now. Is that in the GTS?
It is. Well, it's Michael Dalla Stella who has done a fair amount of damage to that car, unfortunately, coming into contact with Alan Kalari, and that is not going to please the Kessel team because they're teammates.
I can see water coming out of the radiators there, so maybe that could be a DNF.
Oh, and Leo tries around the outside into turn 12. Is that he's pushed out again, very wide over the grass creek. And that was a super run he had on Ramos, but Ramos assertive when he needed to be in defence. He kept the inside line, he kept his racing line, and Federico Leo, he's trying every which way. And this is now closing up enormously with Nick Tandy bringing himself into the party as we go into what will be the penultimate lap of the race now, just 3 minutes left on the clock. And with a lap time in the 1 minute 50-second bracket, we're into the ultimate lap, and we're seeing the challenge from Malacelli. He almost makes contact with Leo as they come into turn 1. And Malacelli, is he going to squeeze through on the inside? He breaks very, very deep into the corner. Leo gives him racing room, but I think Federico Leo will hold on in second position. He does just that, but Malacelli asking all the questions for Miguel Ramos. That is an early Christmas present because his advantage grows to about 4 car lengths. And that was so tight as Malicelli pulled out of the slipstream.
Well, that's exactly what Ramos needed. Just the two fighting behind him, so he can pull away and get just a little bit of, a gap and concentrate on the road ahead. Now Ramos, once again, looking strong. I mean, 6 laps ago, you thought that Leo would have come through quite quickly, but great drive by Ramos.
Here we see Federico Leo's attempted move around the outside of Miguel Ramos. Ramos just stuck to his guns, and oh, how close was that to being a very, very expensive moment for Matteo Malicelli, who has now just dropped back from Federico Leo and has got Nick Tandy all over his tail. So Tandy and the Manthey Porsche team could yet get a podium from this race. They're on the tail of the Aston Martin. Juan Manuel Lopez is still in mix, so we now have, as we move into the final lap and the third of the race, 2 distinct battles, the one for first and second, then the fight for third, fourth and fifth. And so the 2 championship protagonists fighting over third position, and this is going to be a very, very tight battle over the final lap because the tyres on the Aston Martin are beyond second hand. That car looks very uncomfortable for Malicelli.
Yes, here we go. This is the last lap of the race. This is the last chance for Leo to do anything about the lead of this race. Is he close enough? I don't think so.
He's not, is he? He's a long way back into turn 1. Nick Tandy is the man most likely to, on this final lap, I think, jump up onto the podium because Matteo Malicelli has been really struggling through the mid-speed corners, whereas Nick Tandy just seems to have something in reserve. So Miguel Ramos, after what has been a formidable defence, will he be able to hold on for this final tour of the Hungarian circuit? 4.3 kilometres ahead of them. They've already covered the first of those kilometres, and what about the remaining 3.4 through fourth turn? We've got waved yellow flags. I suspect that's probably for Michael Dallas Stella. No, it's not. It's a car that's come to rest in the gravel trap. We'll pick up who that is shortly.
I thought that was the BMW Z4 GTS. I could be wrong, but I thought that was the Schubert car.
It did look suspiciously like Daniel Roos, didn't it, in the Schubert BMW? So out of 6 and 7, Miguel Ramos has still got that advantage, and Nick Tandy draws alongside Malicelli into turn 8, and he tries to squeeze through in the Porsche, and he does that. Malicelli runs wide. Juan Manuel Lopez now takes his turn to try and force his way up into third position. What a move from Nick Tandy. He climbs into third on the final lap. Federico Leo is challenging as well. Miguel Ramos to lead. We don't know where to look as into turn 12 come the race leaders, and Leo's going to launch one up the inside, but no, Miguel Ramos has got enough in his pocket. Nick Tandy is also able to hold on from Juan Manuel Lopez as the race leader Miguel Ramos turns into the penultimate corner. He leads from Federico Leo out to turn 13 into turn 14, the last corner of what has been a stunning race here at the Hungaroring, and still the podium positions are to be decided as accelerating to the checker flag. Oh, what a win that's been from Miguel Ramos and Rafael Gianmaria. Second place to Federico Leo, and Nick Tandy and Marco Holzer claim third with Juan Manuel Lopez and Andrea Montermini in fourth, Matteo Malicelli and Alvaro Barber in fifth, and then Philip Petter and Michael Brozanitsky claim sixth. And that was absolutely fantastic.
What an incredible race. I mean, coming right to the end. This is credit to Jesus Pereira and his formula of GT racing. It's just a great racing. You have 3 different manufacturers in the top 3. What a great move by Nick Tandy on the last lap.
It was. I mean, Nick Tandy, through the course of that race, he was the driver who did the overtaking. He made some stunning moves. Federico Leo, is he giving the thumbs up or a shaking fist there to Miguel Ramos? Ramos did nothing wrong. That was very fair driving.
Absolutely not. That was very, very good driving. Very good driving by Ramos. Leo obviously frustrated that he couldn't get through. You know, Ramos showed all his experience over the years, and yes, he's not a professional driver, but he's a very, very competent GT driver.
That was just a brilliant drive. You cannot overstate how difficult it is in this heat to maintain that sort of concentration under that pressure for Miguel Ramos for the best part of 25 minutes with Federico Leo all over his tail. Now in the championship, well, it brings things ever closer. Nick Tandy and Marco Holzer and the Manthey squad, they will be jubilant over third position as we take another look at this Nick Tandy move on Matteo Malicelli. And Nick Tandy squeezing up the inside, and again, all credit to Malacelli. He didn't turn across him, they didn't make contact. It was all very clean. It was a spin as well in the late stages, unfortunately, around for Massimo Mantovani, where in the GTS class, and it was the BMW that came to a smoky halt. In the GTS class, it was Andrea Rizzoli and Stefano Pizzari who won the class. Second place was Mapelli and Arch Hamilton. Third place, Matteo Beretta and Marcello Puglisi. And there is an overjoyed Raffaele Gianmaria. And, well, we've been talking about what a fine job Gianmaria did, but what Ramos did, but Gianmaria in the first half of the race as well. So here is a look at the final results, with Miguel Ramos and Raffaele Gianmaria winning it by 7/10 of a second from Federico Leo and Jimmy Bruni. Third place was Marco Holzer and Nick Tandy. Fourth place, Andrea Montermini and Juan Manuel Lopez. Fifth place, Alvaro Barber and Matteo Malacelli. Those 5 cars have given us quite a show. Winning the GTS class then, Stefano Pizzari and Andrea Rizzoli. They were 7th overall. Second in the class, and that was Marco Mapelli. Arch Hamilton, they were 10th overall. And then third in the GTS class for Autolandsport as well, Matteo Beretta and Marcello Puglisi. The fastest lap was set by Miguel Ramos and Raffaele Gianmaria, and that was set by Gianmaria in the earlier stages of the race. And, well, Tommy, as we take a quick check at the Drivers' Championship, how tight is this at the top? So it's Holzer and Tandy who lead the way by just 3 points from Leo and Bruni in the AF Corse Ferrari, and then a further 3 points back, Malacelli and Barber, and the handshakes for the Corvette team will be going on long into the night, because their drivers did a fine job today.
Can't stress how impressed I am with Ramos's performance today. It's a fantastic, mature and controlled performance in a very difficult conditions. And look at him, he probably can't believe it himself.
I don't think he can. And that was very nice, Federico Leo, straight in with the handshake to say well done, because that was very impressive. Delight as well in the GTS class for Auto Orlando Sport. They've got both their cars home on the podium. Miguel Ramos, where you can see just the exertion behind the cockpit coming into Barcelona. And this, I suspect, is going to be one of the most jubilant podiums we've had of the year, as the GTS class winner, Andrea Rizzoli and Stefano Pizzari. Rizzoli, it was who took the car over the line, comes to a halt in Parc Fermé. And, well, Tommy, if anybody ever asks you what is GT racing all about, surely this race was it. Multi-march, you had the Aston Martin, the Ferrari, the Porsche, the race-winning Chevrolet Corvette, wheel to wheel for the best part of half an hour.
Without a doubt, I've watched a few GT races earlier this year in different championships, and quite frankly, this is the best GT race I've seen in many, many years. Clearly, again, Jesus Pereira has a great formula where you have different manufacturers fighting to the very end. I think only 3 seconds covered the top 5 cars that crossed the line today, and exciting racing. I mean, it makes our job here in the commentary box very easy.
It really does, because that was just absolutely fantastic. And what a way for the 99th race for the International GT Open to come to an end. Join us tomorrow. We will be, as ever, live on our web stream, www.live.gtopen.net, where we will have the 100th race from the International GT Open, and that race gets underway tomorrow at 1 o'clock local time here in Hungary, as we take a look at the highlights from the race. And, well, it was a very lively race from the outset, as Alvaro Barber streaked in the early lead, but Jimmy Bruni kept his nerve, as did Raffaele Gianmaria. And as they worked through the early stages, it was Bruni and Gianmaria who stretched their ahead of the field. As further back, Cesar Ramos making a superb debut in the National GT Open, going wheel to wheel with Patrick Pilet, eventually the Frenchman prevailing. Further back, there were a couple of adventures. Miguel Amaral having a quick spin through the first corner, as the Maserati showed very strongly in the hands of Alessandro Pierguidi, unfortunately being a late race retirement, as he battled with Cesar Ramos and Michele Rugolo. Well, the pit window then turned the race on its head, as Miguel Angel de Castro encountered more problems in the DriveX Porsche. So it was Gianmaria who blinked first in that fight for lead. He pitted in turned over to Miguel Ramos. But when the cars came out, they were very closely bunched. Matteo Malicelli initially was the man on the move. He made this fighting pass on Nick Tandy. Tandy having withstood the pressure as long as he could. Jimmy Bruni pitting at the very, very tail end of the pit window to hand over to Federico Leo. Michael Broznicki benefited as well. He was up into third position after the pit stops had shaken themselves out. It was Miguel Ramos who came out in the lead, with then Leo in second. And Malicelli climbing up into third. Michael Della Stella and Alan Collari unfortunately making contact here. Then on the last lap, Nick Tandy to the inside of Malicelli into third position. So Tandy claiming a very fine third, but Miguel Ramos, after half an hour of pressure from Federico Leo, came through to take an absolutely fantastic victory for the Corvette team. Really, really fine performance from Miguel Ramos and his co-pilot Raffaele Giammaria. Played in honour of the V8 racing team, the winning team, as a presentation of the trophies on the podium for the drivers. And of course, Tommy, they've got to come back and do all that again through. We're saying we are, of course, live on the web stream from 1 o'clock local time here in Hungary. We will have the 100th race from the International GT Open. If it's anything as entertaining as today's, we'll be in for a real treat.
Well, I can't wait for tomorrow. I mean, it's, if we get half of the excitement we got from this race, I'll be here. I hope the viewers will tune in as well. It's been great racing. The move of the race for me, definitely Nick Tandy. The drive of the race, without a doubt, Ramos. Fantastic performance. A lot of drivers really doing great jobs. Leo will be obviously disappointed, I think, with this result, but you know, he needs to learn from this and gather his thoughts and go tomorrow in fighting mood.
Well, Nick Tandy, some very assertive overtaking. I think we also shouldn't forget Raffaele Giammaria, because in the first half of the race, staying with Jimmy Bruni, who was running at such a pace, was really a fine performance, and it set Miguel Ramos up with the best possible opportunity to come through and take the victory. But even so, completely agree with you that Ramos, under that sort of pressure for that long, to hold on and withstand the challenge was a drive that he will cherish for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's a great opening stint by Giammaria, without doubt. And, but yeah, just a great performance from the whole team altogether, and I think Bruni as well did a great job at the beginning. Great assertion into the first corner and making sure that nobody was going to take the lead, and he then pulled away quite cleanly. Again, you would expect that from Bruni, but you know, to do it consistently over and over again is the mark of a true professional. And yeah, some really good moments from the race. I think I can't wait again to see race 2.
Well, we're about to get the podium for the GTS cars underway, which also gave us plenty of entertainment and plenty of drama. And the class being played by Andrea Rizzoli and Stefano Pizzari, they stayed out of trouble. First up, third place on the GTS class podium, Matteo Beretta and Marcello Puglisi from the Auto Orlando Sport Porsche team. Second place, not from the Auto Orlando team cars, Archie Hamilton and Marco Napelli. Archie grinning from ear to ear there. He is very, very happy with that. And then, of course, class winners, Rizzoli and Pizzari. They're celebrating on top of the podium as the trophies are presented here in the glorious sunshine at the Hungaro ring. It's been bathed in sunlight all week, and the drivers thoroughly enjoying, for many of them, it's their first opportunity to race here at the Hungaro ring. So as the trophies are presented and the champagne is about to fly here on the podium at the Hungaro ring, on behalf of Tommy Erdos and myself, Ben Evans, it's just about to say goodbye for today, but we very much look forward to you joining us tomorrow, where we will have the 100th race for the International GT Open here on the Twists and Turns Hungaroring.
A kis kategória, a GTS kategória résztvevőinek, ez a kis kategória is már nem biztos, hogy sokáig áll egyébként. Van, aki nem akart annyira locsolgatni, inkább elhoztak.